Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Jukka Tapaninen. I'm the CEO of Aiforia. So there's a huge digital transformation going on in pathology. So moving from a manual to automated to digital to AI, and there are clear reasons why this transformation is happening. So there's a huge demand. So there's about 3 billion glass plates that needs to be digitized and diagnosed as well. So there's a lot of a demand. So and all the megatrends like the aging population and so on. So they are driving the demand. So there are unfortunately more and more cancer cases coming up. Plus we are studying those more carefully. And at the same time, so in a world, so there's about 100,000 pathologists, and the number is not going up. Actually, it's decreasing a little bit. So there's a huge growing gap between the demand and actually kind of a resources to take care of that workflow. So that's going on. The demand is there. So and from Aiforia's perspective, so it's an interesting market to be because we are not actually building the demand. So it's a market that the customers are actually having a kind of a active problem recognition, and they are actively looking for solutions for their problems. So it's an interesting market. The other big thing to notice is when this big transformation is happening, because it has been going on for years. So there was early adopters, and now we see that there's a kind of a demand picking up from a bigger kind of a clinical customers. So I think we are now having the technologies in place, and then also the organizations, hospitals, researchers, clinics are actually noticing that now the AI is in a level and the digitization is in a level so that it really benefits for them. So it's going on, and I'll go more in the details a little bit later. So big transformation, we are moving people diagnosing things from a microscope to digital, so and providing a quantitative analysis, ready-made reports, and of course showing in a digital form where the issues are. So, but this is the transformation which is going on. And role for Aiforia in this process. So there are obviously multiple other players in the same workflow. So because you have the physical samples coming in from a patient, so you need to prepare those. You need to put some staining so that you can get the things out from that material. You digitize, then you share the images. And Aiforia's role in this process is really to kind of support the pathologists to make their diagnostic decisions. So as said, so we show in a big picture so where the issues are, and we also do a quantitative analysis. So we put everything in a numeric form, and then we provide a ready-made report for pathologists to verify. So I think that's the kind of a key part of this process, so that we help to kind of get the value out from this workflow. And when the diagnosis has been done, so then it goes to a next step, which is the treatment decision with the doctor who gives the treatment decision. But this is the process. And when talking about AI, because I think it's important to clarify here as well, nowadays everybody talks about AI, so it's a big thing, so everything is AI. So it can mean so many different things. So it can be the work list and prioritization tools, so that so you have the kind of most important cases first and so on. So that's one thing. The other thing is that what most of the competition is doing, so they are building a heat map, so and giving a picture to pathologists and show where potentially the most risky parts are. So and they still need to do the kind of diagnosis manually. So figure it out from that picture, what is there, and do their diagnosis. And then the next level is the quantitative analysis, so that you have the picture, but you have also the numeric form, so you do the quantitative analysis and you provide the report. And I think the next one, so which is already a reality, so not too many models in the market. We have one done together with Mayo Clinic last year, so it's called QuantCRC for colorectal cancer. So and they combined Aiforia's AI to do the calculations and do the diagnostic support, and then combining that with the 8,000 patient cases and building a predictive algorithm. So and now they can predict what is the patient outcome. So and based on that information, so they can provide they can make a decision. So how much chemotherapy, for example, the patient is getting. So there are a lot of benefits on that. So because a lot of side effects from a chemo, and it's good for the patient, but also financially it's interesting because in the US there is about $10,000 per month for chemo. And they calculate it out so that they can actually downgrade the treatment for 30% of the patients. So meaning that, okay, so going from a 6 months chemo to 3 months chemo and so on. So good for the patient and good for the hospital and economy overall. But so different levels of AI that companies are providing. This is an old slide from a Gartner from actually 23. So I think this is no news to anybody, so that the AI is there, whatever you do, so AI is involved, so and there's a huge spending going on. And that impacts to us as well, because there are multiple vendors in a same market providing different things. But what we have noticed that the customers are actively kind of looking for AI solution and diagnostic support, and that impacts on the other decisions that they take. So what type of image management system, so what type of scanners they want to have. So AI is driving now that decision. And okay, so this is a slide with a lot of numbers and information, but I try to explain because many times people have asked so that you have closed really nice deals, so and when the money starts coming in. So we took one kind of a customer example here. I'm not be able to tell the customer name, so but it's a real case. So that how much we expect that particular customer bringing revenue for Aiforia, and it's ramping up because we typically start small and a couple of AI models, couple of sites, and then when that gets in a volume, so then we start ramping up. So and then in a 3, 4, 5 year period, so then we start getting significant revenues from those customers. And the good thing is that this is almost like an ERP system implementation, meaning that, okay, once you get it done, so it's up and running, so it's not likely that the customers are switching to something else. So now it's really important to capture those good customers at this point of the time, so and then work with those customers and ramp up the volumes on their sides. But yeah, just as a numeric example of how the revenues will come in the future. And this is just kind of a more detailed explanation about the market growth. The fastest growing areas are the image management systems and AI in the middle, and the market is growing quite nicely. So, but this is the combination that when you have a hospital that really picks up this topic, so they need to start this. They can start with the AI and image management systems, but they need to have scanners as well, a small number first, but they need to grow as well so that they can handle the volume. So, but all of these somehow goes together. I think the software piece is the laboratory information system, image management, and then the AI. So, and typically customers want to buy those as a one package. So what is our offering? So company is a bit over 10 years old, and I'm not going to go through the history lengthy way, but saying that, okay, in 2020, so 5 years after starting the company, so we entered the clinical market, and clinical is the one that there's a huge need and huge volume, and we expect that there's a lot of money as well available on that side. But we started with building a Aiforia Create, which is a development tool, so that we enabled pathologists to build their own AI models. And that is a solution that was widely accepted and used in the market. So that's why we have over 5,000 users in 50 different countries. A lot of researchers and universities and other institutions were using it. And that was giving us a good kind of starting point, because there's a lot of scientific documents coming out. and Aiforia has a fantastic reputation. And the same people who are working on those research groups typically work also in a hospitals, are decision makers on that side, which helps us. But then fast forward on 2020, so we started to enter the clinical side of the business, and we did the IPO in 21, and we also kind of started to build the portfolio more ready AI models. We have now 6 different CE IVD mark solutions, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. But we have now the offering, we have now the flagship customers on that side, and the business is ramping up. But that started in 2020, even though the company started 5-6 years earlier building the technology platform. And as a company, what we are really proud of is the team what we have. So we have the technology team, which is really top notch, and we have a science team really in depth in the pathology, so providing and can build those models. And nowadays we have a very good sales team as well. So that was not the case a couple of years back. But we've been investing on a go-to-market activities as well. So we are still serving the research side, because as said, so there are many times combined to each other, so clinical and research sector. And this is really important. Now, if you compare to any other company in the same market, we are clearly a leading one. So, and what I'm meaning by leading one is that, okay, so who has really sold these solutions, implement the solution, and have a customers who are using it. Mayo was the first big one already a couple of years ago. So they have a prostate models in a production. There's 70 pathologists working with the Create tool to build their own AI models, and we have this prognostic model also coming with the Mayo collaboration. But top of that, so there's a lot of a demand, a lot of public tenders going on in Europe. So we won the biggest hospital group in Europe, so which is AP-HP in Paris. And starting with the 2 hospitals with a couple of AI models, but the opportunity is the 38 hospitals overall. And so that's a big one. So we won Castile y León in Spain, a couple of regions in Italy. Last time I spoke about the Veneto, but worth of mentioning is that it's a 5.5 million people. It's the same size as Finland. So 12 hospitals, now we have implemented to 8. And next thing, they start ramping up the volume with the different doing a kind of acquisition for scanners. But this is a fantastic case for us, and there's 15 other regions in Italy. So we actually have 5 with Aiforia at the moment. So and there are of course a lot of open sales cycles going on. NHS we won last year. And today, so we put the press release out, so we won an interesting new customer in Turkey, the biggest private hospital there, so and a really advanced hospital, so that's a new opening. So a lot of AI models, so there are thousands already done in a research side. Because of the time, I'm not going to go too much on a detail on this. On a clinical suite, so this is where we are focusing on building an offerings for lung and breast and prostate and so on. So and this is a really interesting one. So and customers are actually driving our development pipeline. So we won a big deal with the FimLab earlier this year. So there's a lot of AI models that we are providing for them. So and multiple other customers are asking always something new. So we built something new based on the real customer demand. This is an interesting picture for pathologists for sure, and for you as an investor, maybe that showing that this is a prostate model, so that we can really go in a detail. So we can give a Gleason grading, we can populate that report, and the report is interesting in that sense, so that pathologists just need to verify the information that AI has generated. And if the pathologist is confirmed that okay, it's okay, so just click and then it goes to laboratory information system and for the treatment decision. This is the model that we built with the Mayo, so prognostic model, not going on details too much on that. A lot of regulation, so heavily regulated sometimes, yes, bit frustrating that okay, so you need to do all of those things. The positive side is that okay, so that's really a barrier of entry for this business as well. And we have done all of these. So we have the security certification. So we have different ISOs and HIPAA compliance for the US market. We have moved forward with the FDA progress project and also the kind of IVDR solutions are coming shortly in the market as well. So, but there's a lot of things that you need to do in this area. So, as I said earlier, the market is really moving from an early adopter phase. Now I see that, okay, what is happening? So we have these bigger flagship hospitals, and we intend to win as many as possible on those. And obviously the next phase, at least in a theory, is that, okay, so it will be a volume market. So the volume market needs a little bit more kind of mature solutions so that you can replicate more easily. So, and maybe some consolidation in the market as well, so that it's easier to buy and easier to sell. Currently, what we see is that everybody wants to partner. So whether it's a Google, whether it's a Hologic, whether it's any of the big companies, everybody wants to partner, and they want to partner with the AI companies because they don't have their own offering on this side, but it drives the demand for their own solutions. So there's a lot of things happening. And obviously, I think the M&A type of things are possible opportunities as well in some point of a time. Targets, same as before, and what we did in the IPO, so we promised multiple things, and so far we've been able to provide, and we are really happy and proud on that, so that we've been able to kind of deliver what we've been promising. So, and obviously going forward, so that's our intention as well. But I guess I kind of end my presentation here, and happy to take some questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Jukka, and please have a seat.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have quite many questions, so let's see if we can go through them all. So let's start with the general questions. Which milestones at Aiforia are you most proud of, and have there been some kind of mistakes during the way, and why? What are the main milestones and why?
Well, I think if I need to mention a couple of those, so one is obviously, so when we did the IPO in 21 in December, so we promised that we will bring 6 CE IVD marked solutions into market, and we managed to do that in 6 months. So meaning that our development platform works well, and we have a fantastic team on making those tools, because that is a kind of really needed if you want to sell to a clinical side of the business. So that's the starting point. So, and obviously, so going forward, I think the Mayo is a big thing. So because it's ranked as a #1 hospital in the world, and it's the best reference in this industry what you can get. And after that, winning those kind of multiple other kind of nice institutions. So really proud on that.
Yeah. On a more kind of current event today, you announced a new clinical customer in Turkey, and that customer already had digitalization in place, and then they built AI on top of that, right? Is this a typical for your customers, or how would you describe it?
Well, I think as I said many times in the presentation, so AI is a hot topic, and they've been testing. So I think typically why we win, so that there's individuals who wants to use and build the AI models, and as we have this create platform, so we can provide the tools for them. But on the other hand, the same people are the decision makers on the clinical side, and for that purpose, so they need more ready-made tools which have these certifications in place. So and I think they go hand by hand, but the Turkish hospital really good. So it's not probably our focus market at the moment, but I would say that our focus market are these kind of leading hospitals in the world. So, and if we take top 10 hospitals in the world, so I would say 5, 6 are using us in some shape or form.
Your business depends on this new market developing and building. So what kind of positive or negative surprises have you had with this market formation?
Well, I think everybody was expecting the market to open faster, so that's for sure. But on the other hand, so I think the vendors were not ready to provide the tools that the customers needed. And there was a lot of work to be done to really provide, to be able to provide the information so that they can trust that the information is correct, and then you provide the information what they actually need for decision making.
Yeah. You recently announced the Page partnership. So can you talk a little bit about more that partnership, and can you say who is in the driver's seat in that?
Well, so we are reselling Page's AI models. So Page is one of those kind of leading companies in the industry. So as you may know, so it was a big investment from a Goldman Sachs and KKR and a couple of other companies. So they raised something like 250 million valuation over $1 billion some point of a time. But now they are focusing on providing an AI model. So they are giving away the image management system, and it's a strong one because they have an access to Memorial Sloan Kettering database and all of those slides. So there's millions of slides that they can build on. They are quite strong on kind of innovating the new things in a foundation model area, and it's kind of a small add on our offering. But it's a good company, and we are happy to partner. But we are leading the sales cycles, and it will be kind of integrated to our image management or viewer what we are having. So that so it's a kind of a subcontractor for us in a way, but in a positive way.
Yeah. In the US, there's been some friction with the FDA approvals for clinical applications. So how do you expect this to be solved?
Well, let's see. They all say that the new administration comes and make some changes, but the fact is that currently the FDA is requiring a pixel pathway, and that means that you need to have the same scanner, so that doing the digitization, then you need to have a viewer in the same process and the kind of a screen on the same process, and then the AI. So you need to kind of approve that whole combination at once. And if something is changing, the scanner is changing, and customer wants to have something else, so then it's not anymore FDA approved. So that's the challenge currently. We are moving forward with that, so with the bigger partner, and sorting it out. But eventually they need to change the mind so that you can have a multiple components, and you need to kind of regulate certain elements of that process. But it's a working in a process, and yeah.
Are you on track with achieving your financial targets?
Yes.
Thank you.
We haven't given out our kind of targets for years, but so far we are moving forward as planned.
Good. Are you planning to collaborate with companies that provide the equipment for sample digitalization?
Well, short answer on that. So we are looking for the whole value chain, the workflow, and different companies on that. So because at the end of the day, as I said before, so the customers wants to buy a solution, not the single component of that workflow.
Okay, and you already mentioned your successes in France. The question is, in addition to Aiforia, Ibex seems to be succeeding in France. How do you perceive the competitive environment? So will there be a few winners or more of a fragmented market?
Well, to start with is that the market is big, so there's plenty of room for other players as well. But I would say that there's only a handful of companies who have a credible solution, because there's a lot of regulation in place, so you need to make sure that you have those in place, and then you are able to sell. And of course, I can claim so that what we can provide the customer, if we are in a face-to-face competition, we will win. But then probably there are a lot of kind of customer cases that we are not aware about. So and they have a room as well. So Ibex is it's an okay company from Israel, and Page from the US. So Visiopharm, a little bit with the older technology from Denmark, but a good company as well. But I would say that eventually there will be a handful of companies who are having some kind of a stronger position, and that's how the analysts are kind of seeing Aiforia, one of those kind of leading companies in the industry. But the market is big, so 3 billion slides.
Yeah. Okay, final question. What are the biggest risks regarding your scale-up?
Well, so can we do it quickly enough? So I think that's the thing. So that's why we are partnering with the multiple companies at the moment, so that we can spot the opportunities. Because if that happens, so that in 25, 26, 27, so if they are now we can handle those public tenders. So we have tens of them in a play, but if suddenly there's 100, so do we have immediately a capacity to kind of cover those? But to kind of fix that potential issue, so we have now 25 partners, reselling partners globally. So we haven't spoke about that too much. So, but we have one in Korea, we have one in Saudi, multiple ones in Europe. So that when the volume starts ramping up, so then the ecosystem will help. And then we've been partnering. You may have noticed the Google partnership. So that's a big one with the NIH thing. So and then with the multiple scanner manufacturers and industry players.
Jukka, thank you very much for the presentation and discussion. Next up, let's continue with Herantis Pharma.
Thank you.